November 24th, 1971, Portland. Only 30 people were scheduled to make the short flight, but Dan Cooper, DB Cooper, had other plans. The man in seat 18E, wearing a suit, tie, and sunglasses, launched the biggest mystery of all time with a note he handed to the stewardess. Open demand, $200,000 in cash and 4 coins. While the passengers were unaware, the pilots were preparing for the ransom delivery. This cold-blooded, money-grubbing hijacking was just beginning.
On Sunday, November 24, 1971, Northwest Airlines Flight 305 was preparing to depart from Portland International Airport with 42 people on board, including the crew. The flight was scheduled to last about half an hour and land at Seattle International Airport. On that day, one passenger drew attention. A flight attendant named Florence noticed a man sitting in seat 18E in the back row. While serving him, she saw him smile and hand her a folded notebook. Being accustomed to such situations, she initially didn't think much of it and put the note in her bag. However, the man calmly said, "Ma'am, you should look at this note. It's important. There's a bomb in my briefcase." Florence hesitated for a moment but remained calm and opened the note. Written in black ink in large capital letters, it read, "There is a bomb in my briefcase. I demand $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes to be delivered by 5 p.m. No passengers other than the crew should be aware of this situation." When Florence tried to inform the cockpit, the man politely allowed her to convey his demands to the pilots. The passengers still had no idea what was happening. Soon, the pilots began preparing for refueling and other necessary steps. The man, in his 40s, carried a briefcase and wore a black suit, white shirt, tie, and sunglasses. He had purchased his ticket in cash and written his name as Dan Cooper. He then sat in the back row and, with complete politeness, carried out his hijacking and presented his demands. The flight lasted about 3 hours. Upon landing, his demands were met. $10,020 bills totaling $200,000 and 4 parachutes were delivered to the plane. Florence checked that everything was complete, and the passengers and 2 flight attendants disembarked. Only the 2 pilots, 2 flight attendants, and Cooper remained on board. After takeoff, Dan Cooper learned how to open the rear stairs of the plane and instructed the flight attendant not to return to the cabin. The last thing she saw was Cooper trying to attach the money to the parachutes. After about 3 hours in the air, the plane landed at Reno Airport with the rear stairs down, but Cooper had vanished. No one saw him fall from the plane. Only 2 parachutes, cigarette butts, a tie pin, and the flight attendant's accounts remained as evidence. The FBI launched a comprehensive search. Dan Cooper's minor criminal record was reviewed, but he was eliminated as a suspect because he could prove he was at home that day. Newspapers reported on this first suspect, calling him DB Cooper, and his name became legendary. Because the exact jump location was unknown, additional flights along the same route were conducted. Due to weather and terrain, Cooper's landing site could not be precisely determined. Authorities tracked the serial numbers of the stolen bills through financial institutions and businesses, but Cooper was never found. 10 years later, in 1980, an 8-year-old boy camping near the Columbia River found about $5,800 in moldy cash buried in the sand. The serial numbers confirmed that the money came from the 1971 hijacking. However, it remains unknown whether Cooper himself or someone else placed the money there. The case remains unsolved due to the harsh weather conditions during the jump, the basic parachutes, and difficult terrain. For 50 years, the FBI could not resolve the case and officially closed it in 2016. Cooper remains a mystery. The only evidence found includes some of the money, a tie pin, and the flight attendant's statements. To this day, it is unknown what happened to Cooper, whether he survived or died. The incident remains one of the most famous unsolved crimes in U.S. history.